Maya Rodriguez stepped out of the transport ship and looked up at the most amazing building she had ever seen. The Zephyrian Academy of Biological Sciences rose into the sky like a giant crystal flower. Its walls were made of some kind of clear material that changed colors as the light hit it. Purple, blue, and green waves moved across the surface like water. She had dreamed of this moment for 3 years. Earth had finally been accepted into the Galactic Educational Exchange Program. Maya was the first human to study at this famous school. She carried her Earth specimen collection in a special case and wore her best lab coat. Her heart beat fast with excitement and fear. The academy was huge. Maya had read about it, but seeing it was different. Students from all over the galaxy walked through the main courtyard. Some looked like giant lizards with scales that sparkled in the sunlight. Others were tall and thin with blue skin and 4 arms. A few looked almost human but had pointed ears and silver eyes. Maya felt very small. Most of the other students were much bigger than her. Even the shortest ones came up to her shoulder. She wondered if they would take her seriously. On Earth, she was known as a smart scientist. Here, she was just a human from a world most aliens called primitive. Dr. Quinder met her at the entrance. He was the head of the Biological Sciences Department. His species looked like a cross between a bear and an octopus. He had thick gray fur and 6 arms that moved constantly as he talked. "Welcome to our academy, Dr. Rodriguez," he said in perfect English. His voice was deep and friendly. "We are very excited to learn about Earth's life forms. Your planet has been isolated for so long. What secrets might your world hold?" Maya smiled and shook one of his hands. "Thank you, Professor. I brought samples of our most interesting creatures. I hope they will help everyone understand Earth better." As they walked through the corridors, Maya noticed other students staring at her. Some whispered to each other. A few pointed at her. Small size, she heard the word primitive several times. Maya kept her head high and pretended not to notice. The professor showed her to a large room where she would give her first presentation. "The students are very curious about Earth," he said. "Many have never seen a human before. Some think your world is not very dangerous because you have no natural armor or weapons like other species." Maya nodded. She had expected this. Humans looked weak compared to most aliens. They did not have sharp claws, thick scales, or poison glands, but Maya knew something the aliens did not know. Earth was more dangerous than they could imagine. The next day, Maya stood in front of 200 alien students. The room was packed. Everyone wanted to see the human and her Earth creatures. Maya had prepared her best specimens and practiced her speech many times. She started with the big animals. She showed pictures of lions, elephants, and great white sharks. The students made impressed sounds. A few took notes. Maya felt confident as she explained how these predators hunted and survived. "These are Earth's apex predators," she said, pointing to a picture of a grizzly bear. "They can weigh over 300 kilograms and run 50 kilometers per hour. One student raised her hand. She was tall and blue with silver markings on her face. "These creatures are impressive," she said, "but they are not so different from predators. On other worlds, are these the most dangerous animals on Earth?" Maya smiled. "Actually, no. Earth's most dangerous creatures are much smaller." She clicked to the next slide, showing pictures of insects. The room fell silent for a moment. Then someone started laughing. Soon, half the students were making amused sounds. A large student near the front stood up. He was at least 3 meters tall with thick scales covering his body. His name was Crickstar, and Maya had been warned he was very smart but also very proud. "These tiny creatures are dangerous?" he asked loudly. "They are smaller than my smallest claw. How could such pathetic beings threaten anything?" More students laughed. Maya felt her face get hot, but she kept her voice calm. "Size is not everything," she said. "These insects have evolved amazing abilities over millions of years." She showed pictures of army ants working together to hunt. She explained how they could take down animals much larger than themselves. The students were not impressed. Some made jokes about being afraid of creatures they could step on. Maya showed them bullet ants, wasps, and killer bees. She explained their venom and hunting strategies. The more she talked, the more the students laughed. To them, creatures smaller than their fingernails could not be real threats. Crickstar was the loudest. On my world, he announced, children play with creatures larger than your biggest insects. These things you call dangerous are jokes. How did humans ever survive on a world where such tiny beings are considered threats? Other students joined in. Maybe humans are just very weak, one said. Perhaps they are afraid of everything, said another. Maya felt anger building in her chest, but she forced herself to stay professional. Velanara, the blue student who had asked the first question, looked uncomfortable. She was from a species known for being diplomatic. Perhaps we should listen to the full presentation, she said quietly. But it was too late. The mood in the room had changed. Students were no longer taking notes. They were making jokes and laughing at Maya's slides. Every time she mentioned an insect's abilities, someone would make a comment about how weak humans must be. Maya finished her presentation as quickly as she could. The applause was polite but not enthusiastic. She gathered her materials and prepared to leave. As she packed up her specimen case, she made a decision. Crickstar approached her as she was leaving. Dr. Rodriguez, he said with a smirk, thank you for the entertainment. It was amusing to learn about Earth's tiny terrors. His friends laughed behind him. Maya looked up at the giant alien. You found it amusing? Very much so, Crickstar replied. Where I come from, we have real predators, creatures with armor, poison, and intelligence. Not these microscopic toys you showed us? Maya nodded slowly. I see. You think Earth's insects are harmless? Completely harmless, Crickstar said confidently. At least to any properly evolved species. He gestured to his thick scales. These tiny creatures could not hurt me if they tried. Maya smiled, but her eyes were cold. That's very interesting, Crickstar. Perhaps you would like to test that theory. The alien student's crest rose with interest. What do you mean? I have live specimens in my quarters, Maya said. If you are so confident, perhaps you would volunteer for a demonstration. Show everyone how harmless Earth's insects really are. The room grew quiet. Other students had stopped to listen. Crickstar's pride was at stake now. He could not back down in front of everyone. I accept your challenge, he said loudly. Let your pathetic insects do their worst. I will show these students what real evolution looks like. Maya's smile grew wider. Excellent. I will arrange everything for tomorrow's practical class. Professor Quinder can provide medical supervision. As she walked away, Maya heard the students talking excitedly about the upcoming demonstration. They expected to see their classmate easily defeat Earth's harmless creatures. They had no idea what they were about to witness. In her quarters. That night, Maya looked at her special specimen case. Inside were some of Earth's most dangerous insects. She had brought them hoping to educate, not to prove a point. But sometimes, education required a memorable lesson. She opened the case and looked at the small container holding her prize specimen. The bullet ant inside was barely 2 centimeters long, but Maya knew the truth that the alien students would soon learn. Size meant nothing when evolution had created the perfect weapon. Tomorrow, the galaxy would learn to respect Earth's creatures, all of them. Maya woke up early the next morning. She had not slept well. Her mind kept thinking about the demonstration she had promised. Part of her wondered if she was making a mistake. The other part of her was tired of being laughed at. She got dressed and walked to the academy cafeteria. The building was enormous, with tables that could seat thousands of students. The ceiling was so high that small clouds formed near the top. Maya got her breakfast from the food machines and looked for a quiet place to sit. That was when she noticed the staring. Students from different species were looking at her and whispering. Some pointed at her when they thought she was not looking. Maya realized that word about yesterday's challenge had spread through the academy. She found an empty table and sat down. The food was strange but edible. Everything was made from synthetic proteins and vitamins. Maya missed real food from Earth, but she tried to eat anyway. Well. If it is not the famous Earth scientist. Maya looked up to see Crickstar approaching her table. He was even bigger than she remembered. His scales caught the morning light and made rainbow patterns across his chest. Behind him walked 5 other students, all from different species, but all looking amused. Crickstar sat down across from Maya. The chair creaked under his weight. "I hope you slept well," he said with a fake smile. "I know I did. I had wonderful dreams about your tiny Earth monsters." His friends laughed. One of them, a creature that looked like a giant insect with purple skin, spoke up. "Crickstar told us about your insects." "We've been looking forward to seeing them," Maya continued eating. "I'm glad you are interested in Earth biology." We are very interested," said another student. This one had gray skin and 6 arms. "We want to understand how humans survived on a world where such small creatures are considered dangerous." Crickstar leaned forward. "Tell me, Maya, when you were a child, did you have nightmares about butterflies? Did you run away from beetles?" The group burst into laughter. Maya felt her face getting hot, but she kept her voice calm. "Actually, I collected insects as a child. I found them fascinating." "Fascinating and terrifying are different things," Crickstar said. "On my world, children play with creatures that would eat your biggest insects for snacks." Maya looked at him carefully. "What is the most dangerous creature on your world?" Crickstar's chest puffed up with pride. "The Zephyrian rock bear. It weighs 2 tons and has claws longer than your arm. Its bite can crush metal. That is a real predator." "Sounds impressive," Maya said. "How often do rock bears kill people on your world?" "Maybe 10 or 20 people per year," Crickstar replied. "But only foolish people who go into the deep mountains without proper equipment." Maya nodded. "On Earth, insects kill over 1 million people every year." The table went quiet. Crickstar's friends stopped laughing. "That is impossible," he said. "You are making up numbers." "I am not," Maya replied. "Mosquitoes alone kill about 750,000 people annually through disease transmission. Wasps, bees, and ants kill thousands more. Tsetse flies, assassin bugs, and fleas have killed millions throughout human history." One of Crickstar's friends spoke up, "But humans are weak. Your species has no natural defenses." "Of course tiny creatures can hurt you," Maya smiled. "You think we are weak because we survived on a world where everything is trying to kill us." "I think you are weak because you fear creatures we could step on," Crickstar said loudly. Other students nearby turned to listen. "Real evolution creates strength, not fear." Maya set down her food. "You want to know about real evolution, Crickstar? Earth's insects have been evolving for 400 million years. They have survived ice ages, asteroid impacts, and mass extinctions. They have developed chemical weapons, armor, flight, and social structures more complex than most civilizations." "Pretty words," Crickstar said. "But words do not change reality. Your insects are tiny and harmless." "Then you should have no problem with today's demonstration," Maya said. Crickstar's crest flared. "I am looking forward to it." "Which pathetic creature will you use? A butterfly? A ladybug?" Maya stood up. "I will use a bullet ant." The name meant nothing to the alien students, but something in Maya's voice made them pay attention. Crickstar looked confused. "What is a bullet ant?" "You will find out this afternoon," Maya said. "I need to go prepare the demonstration." As she walked away, Maya heard Crickstar talking to his friends. "A bullet ant," he laughed. "It probably got its name because it is as small as a bullet." "How terrifying." Maya left the cafeteria and walked to the practical biology laboratory. She needed to set up the demonstration properly. Professor Quinder was already there, checking the equipment. "Ah, Dr. Rodriguez," he said, waving 2 of his 6 arms. "I heard about your challenge. The students are very excited." "What kind of demonstration are you planning?" Maya opened her specimen case. "I want to show the students that Earth's insects are more dangerous than they think." The professor looked at her collection. "These are live specimens?" "Yes," Maya said. I keep them in stasis during transport, but they can be awakened safely. Professor Quinder examined the labels on the containers. Bullet ant, giant hornet, bombardier beetle, praying mantis. These names sound quite aggressive. They are, Maya said. Especially the bullet ant. It has one of the most painful stings. In the animal kingdom? The professor's fur stood up slightly. How painful, Maya thought for a moment. Humans have developed a pain scale for insect stings. Most stings rate between 1 and 2 on a scale of 4. The bullet ant rates a 4. What does that mean? It means the pain is so intense that people often lose consciousness. The pain can last for 24 hours. Some people describe it as being shot, which is how the ant got its name. Professor Quinder's 6 arms moved nervously. Perhaps we should have medical staff present. That would be wise, Maya agreed. I also want to make sure everyone understands that this is a controlled demonstration. Safety is important. Word about the demonstration spread quickly through the academy. By lunchtime, Maya could not walk anywhere without students stopping to ask her questions. Most of them seemed to think the whole thing was a joke. I heard. You're going to scare Crickstar with a tiny ant, one student said. My little sister has scarier pets, said another. Maya tried to ignore the comments, but it was difficult. She spent the afternoon preparing the demonstration chamber. It was a clear box where she could safely introduce the insects. She also prepared emergency medical supplies and made sure she had antidotes for the various VNOMS.VEL single quotes. Nara found her in the laboratory an hour before the demonstration. The blue-skinned student looked worried. Dr. Rodriguez, she said quietly, I wanted to talk to you about what you are planning. Maya looked up from her preparations. What about it? Crickstar is very proud. His species values strength and courage above everything else. If you embarrass him in front of everyone, it could cause problems. Maya considered this. What kind of problems? He might challenge you to a physical fight. Zephyrians do not like to lose face. He is also very popular with the other students. If they turn against you, your time here could be very difficult. Maya nodded. I understand your concern. But I did not start this conflict. I was just trying to educate people about Earth's biology. I know, Velanara said. But maybe you could use a less dangerous insect? Something that would prove your point without actually hurting anyone? Maya thought about this. Part of her wanted to take the safe path, but she remembered all the laughter and mockery from yesterday. She thought about how the students had dismissed her research and called her world primitive. I appreciate your advice, Naya said finally, but some lessons can only be learned through experience. Crickstar thinks Earth's insects are harmless. The only way to change his mind is to show him the truth. Velanara looked sad. I hope you know what you are doing. So do I, Maya said quietly. As the time for the demonstration approached, Maya felt nervous and excited. She had never done anything like this before. On Earth, she was known for her careful, safe research methods. But these were not normal circumstances. She looked at the container holding the bullet ant. The insect was small and dark, about the size of a large grape. It did not look particularly dangerous. But Maya knew that appearances could be deceiving. In 30 minutes, the students would gather in the laboratory. Crickstar would volunteer to prove that Earth's insects were harmless, and Maya would show them all what real evolution looked like. She just hoped she was ready for the consequences. The practical biology laboratory had never been so crowded. Students filled every seat and lined the walls. Some even sat on the floor to get a better view. Maya had expected maybe 50 students, but over 300 had shown up. Word about the demonstration had spread through the entire academy. Maya stood at the front of the room next to her demonstration chamber. It was a clear box about the size of a large desk. Inside, she could safely show the insects to the students. Her specimen containers sat on a nearby table, each one carefully labeled and secured. Professor Quinder checked the medical equipment one more time. He had called in a full medical team after Maya explained what a bullet ant could do. 3 alien doctors stood ready with emergency supplies and scanning equipment. Are you sure about this? The professor asked Maya quietly. We could still call off the demonstration. Maya looked at the crowd of students. Most of them were laughing and making jokes. She could hear comments about Earth's tiny terrors and the human's pet insects. Near the front, Crickstar sat with his friends, looking confident and amused. I am sure, Maya said. Professor Quinder nodded and moved to the center of the room. Students, please settle down. Dr. Rodriguez will now demonstrate some of Earth's insect species. This is a scientific presentation, so please observe carefully and respectfully. The room quieted slightly, but Maya could still hear whispers and chuckles. She took a deep breath and began. Thank you all for coming, she said. Today I want to show you some of Earth's most interesting insects. These creatures may look small, but they have evolved remarkable abilities. She opened the first container and carefully moved a praying mantis into the demonstration chamber. The insect was about 10 centimeters long, with large eyes and powerful front legs. This is a praying mantis, Maya explained. It is one of nature's most efficient predators. Its reflexes are faster than most animals can see. The mantis sat perfectly still in the chamber. To the alien students it looked like a boring green stick. Someone in the back row yawned loudly. Maya placed a small robot fly in the chamber. The mantis immediately came to life. Its head turned to track the target, and then it struck with lightning speed. The robot fly was caught and destroyed in less than a second. A few students made impressed sounds, but most remained uninterested. My pet could do that, one student called out. Maya moved on to the next specimen. She carefully transferred a Japanese giant hornet into the chamber. The insect was much larger than the mantis, with bright yellow and black stripes. This is a Japanese giant hornet, Maya said. It is one of the largest hornets in the world. Its sting contains powerful venom that can kill a person. The hornet buzzed angrily in the chamber. Its wings beat so fast they were almost invisible. Maya explained how the hornet could fly at 60 kilometers per hour and had jaws strong enough to decapitate other insects. Still looks like a bug to me, Crickstar said loudly. His friends laughed and agreed. Maya demonstrated the hornet's strength by putting a piece of wood in the chamber. The insect immediately attacked it, leaving deep gouges with its mandibles. The students were slightly more interested, but still not impressed. On my world, we have flying creatures 10 times that size, one student said. Maya nodded patiently and moved to the third container. She carefully transferred a bombardier beetle into the chamber. The insect was smaller than the hornet, with a dark body and long legs. This is a bombardier beetle, Maya explained. It has a unique defense mechanism. When threatened, it can fire a boiling hot chemical spray from its abdomen. The students looked skeptical. The beetle was not very impressive to look at. Maya gently prodded it with a tool, and the insect immediately responded. A stream of hot chemicals shot from its rear end, hitting the wall of the chamber with a loud hiss. The sudden spray made several students jump. The chemical reaction continued for several seconds, filling the chamber with steam and smoke. When it cleared, the wall of the chamber was stained and slightly melted. That is more interesting, Velanara said from her seat. But it is still just a chemical reaction. Maya could feel the students' attention starting to fade again. They had seen the beetle's defense, but it did not seem dangerous to creatures their size. She knew it was time for the final demonstration. And now, Maya said, I want to show you our last specimen. She moved to the final container, the one holding the bullet ant. The insect inside was dark brown and about 2 centimeters long. It looked ordinary compared to the other specimens. This is a bullet ant, Maya said. It comes from the rainforests of South America. It may look small, but it is considered one of the most dangerous insects on Earth. The students looked at the tiny ant and burst into laughter. After seeing the larger insects, the bullet ant seemed like a joke, that little thing. Crickstar stood up from his seat. That is what you brought to scare us. I have seen bigger insects in my breakfast. The laughter grew louder. Maya waited for it to die down before continuing. The bullet ant gets its name from its sting, she said. People who have been stung say it feels like being shot with a bullet. The pain can last for 24 hours. Human pain tolerance is very low, Crickstar said dismissively. What feels like a bullet to you would probably feel like a gentle touch to a properly evolved being. Maya looked at him carefully. Are you volunteering to test that theory? The room fell silent, all eyes turned to Crickstar. His friends were watching him closely. His pride was at stake now. He had spent 2 days telling everyone that Earth's insects were harmless. He could not back down now. I am not just volunteering, he said loudly. I am demanding it. Show everyone how harmless your Earth insects really are? Maya nodded. Professor Quinder, could you please monitor Crickstar's vital signs during the demonstration? The professor moved his scanning equipment closer to Crickstar. His heart rate is normal. Brain activity is typical. He shows no signs of stress or fear. Maya carefully transferred the bullet ant to the demonstration chamber. The insect immediately began exploring its new environment. Its antennae moved constantly, testing the air for chemical signals. The demonstration will be brief, Maya announced. I will allow the ant to make contact with the volunteer's skin for approximately 3 seconds. This should be sufficient to show the effects of the sting. Crickstar walked to the demonstration chamber with confidence. His scales gleamed under the laboratory lights. He was almost 3 meters tall and weighed probably 300 kilograms. Next to him, the tiny ant looked like a speck of dust. I am ready, he announced. Let this pathetic creature do its worst. Maya opened a small port in the chamber and guided the ant toward Crickstar's extended arm. The insect, confused and threatened by the unfamiliar environment, immediately went into defensive mode. Remember, Maya said quietly, this is a controlled scientific demonstration. The ant will sting once and then be immediately removed. Crickstar laughed. One sting from that tiny thing? I doubt I will even feel it. The bullet ant made contact with Crickstar's arm. For a moment, it simply walked across his scales, looking for a good place to strike. The students watched with anticipation, expecting nothing dramatic to happen. Then the ant found a gap between Crickstar's scales. It turned its abdomen toward the alien's skin and drove its stinger deep into the soft tissue. Maya immediately secured the ant back in its container. The sting has been delivered, she announced. Now we wait. Crickstar looked at his arm where the ant had stung him. There was a tiny red mark, barely visible. He smiled confidently at the crowd. Is that it? He asked. I barely felt anything. I told you these creatures were harmless. Professor Quinder checked his instruments. Vital signs are still normal. No significant changes detected. The students began to murmur among themselves. It seemed like Maya's demonstration had failed. The bullet ant had done nothing impressive. Crickstar was still standing, still confident, still unharmed, but Maya knew better. She checked her chronometer and began counting down. The venom takes approximately 30 seconds to reach full effect, she said quietly. 20 seconds passed. Crickstar continued to smile and wave to his friends. 30 seconds. Still nothing. 40 seconds. The students were starting to get restless. Then, at 45 seconds, everything changed. Crickstar's smile faltered. His eyes widened slightly. His breathing became faster. Professor Quinder's instruments began to show changes in his vital signs. How do you feel? Maya asked. Fine, Crickstar replied, but his voice was different. There was uncertainty in it. I feel completely fine. But even as he spoke, his body began to tremble. The bullet ant's venom was spreading through his nervous system, and the real demonstration was about to begin. The change in Crickstar happened slowly at first. Maya watched him carefully, knowing what was coming. The bullet ant's venom was now spreading through his bloodstream, heading straight for his nervous system. I told you I would be fine, Crickstar said to the crowd, but his voice shook slightly. This tiny creature cannot hurt a Zephyrian. Professor Quinder looked at his medical scanner with growing concern. His stress hormones are rising rapidly. Brain activity is increasing in the pain centers. Maya checked her watch. 1 minute had passed since the sting. The venom is beginning to work, she announced to the room. The bullet ant produces a neurotoxin called ponerotoxin. It attacks the nervous system directly. Some students in the crowd began to look worried. Crickstar's confident smile was fading. Fast, sweat began to form on his scaled forehead, something that rarely happened to his species. "What is happening to me?" Crickstar asked Maya. His voice was getting higher. "I feel strange." "The venom is reaching your pain receptors," Maya explained calmly. "You should start feeling the effects any moment now." As if her words had triggered it, Crickstar suddenly gasped. His eyes went wide with shock. His whole body went rigid as the first wave of real pain hit him. "Oh," he whispered, "oh no." The students in the audience stopped talking. They could see something was wrong. Crickstar was standing differently now, his posture tense and unnatural. Maya continued her explanation like she was giving a normal lecture. The bullet ant's venom causes what scientists call pure, immediate pain. It does not damage tissue permanently, but it creates an intense pain response. Crickstar tried to speak, but only a small whimper came out. The pain was building like a fire in his arm, spreading outward from the sting site. His scales began to change color, shifting from their normal green to a pale yellow. This was a Zephyrian danger signal that few aliens had ever seen. "Make it stop," Crickstar whispered. "Please make it stop." But Maya knew there was no way to stop it. The venom was already in his system. "The pain will continue for approximately 24 hours, she said. "There is no antidote." Professor Quinder's medical equipment was now flashing red warnings. "His pain receptors are firing at levels I have never seen before. This is impossible." The crowd of students was completely silent now. They watched their confident classmate begin to shake uncontrollably. Crickstar's breathing became fast and shallow. His huge body, which had seemed so strong just minutes ago, was now trembling like a leaf. "This cannot be real," one student said. Quietly, "How can such a small creature cause so much pain?" Maya looked at the crowd. "This is what evolution on Earth looks like. Our insects have had millions of years to develop the perfect chemical weapons. Size does not matter when you have the right tools." Crickstar tried to stay standing, but the pain was getting worse every second. It felt like fire was flowing through his veins. His arm, where the ant had stung him, felt like it was being burned and electrocuted at the same time. "Help me," he gasped, looking at the medical team. "Give me something for the pain." The alien doctors rushed to him with their strongest pain medications. They injected him with drugs that could knock out a space elephant. But the bullet ant's venom was designed to overcome natural pain defenses. The medicine barely touched the agony he was feeling. Maya watched with scientific interest, but also some sympathy. Human indigenous tribes use bullet ant stings as a coming-of-age ceremony. Young men must endure multiple stings to prove they are ready to be adults. "Multiple stings?" Velinara asked in horror. "How is that possible?" "The human nervous system adapts to extreme pain," Maya explained. "We had to. Earth is not a gentle world." Crickstar could no longer stand. He fell to his knees, his massive body shaking with waves of agony. The sound he made was unlike anything his species had ever produced. It was a high, keening wail that spoke of pain beyond understanding. The students in the audience were terrified. Many had never seen anyone in real pain before. Their worlds were safe, civilized places where suffering was rare. This raw display of agony was shocking to them. "Stop the demonstration," one student called out. "This has gone too far." But Maya shook her head. "The venom has already been delivered. There is nothing we can do now except wait for it to run its course." Professor Quinder was scanning Crickstar frantically. "His vital signs are stable, but his pain levels are off the charts. I do not understand how he is still conscious." "Bullet ant venom is designed to cause maximum pain without killing," Maya said. "It is a perfect defensive weapon. The victim suffers terribly but survives to tell others about the danger." Crickstar tried to speak, but only broken sounds came out. The pain was so intense that he could not form words. His claws scraped against the floor as he tried to find some position that would give him relief. There was none. Velinara stood up from her seat. Dr. Rodriguez, surely there must be something you can do to help him. Maya looked at the blue-skinned student. This is what I tried to explain yesterday. Earth's insects are not toys. They are weapons forged by evolution. Crickstar insisted on learning this lesson the hard way. 10 minutes had passed since the sting. Crickstar was now lying on the floor, his body curled into a tight ball. The medical team surrounded him, but they were helpless. Their advanced technology could not fight a venom that had evolved over millions of years. How long will this continue? Professor Quinder asked. Maya checked her chronometer. The peak pain period lasts about 6 hours. After that, it slowly decreases. He should be functional again in 24 hours? 24 hours? The professor's 6 arms waved in distress. He cannot endure this for 24 hours. Humans have, Maya said simply. Children as young as 12 have survived this as part of their cultural ceremonies. The pain is terrible, but it is not fatal. The students in the audience were now completely silent. Many looked sick, some were crying. They had never imagined that such a small creature could cause such devastating effects. Crickstar's friends tried to approach him, but he was beyond communication. The pain had consumed his entire consciousness. He existed in a world of pure agony, unable to think about anything else. This is what you wanted to show us, Velanara said to Maya. This is your lesson about Earth's insects, Maya nodded. Every day on Earth, humans live alongside creatures that could cause this level of pain. We respect them because we understand what they can do. We do not mock them because we know they are dangerous. The medical team was preparing to move Crickstar to the medical bay. They had given him sedatives that would normally put him in a coma, but he was still conscious. The bullet ant's venom was stronger than their strongest drugs. I need to go with him, Professor Quinder said. This is the most severe pain response I have ever witnessed. We need to monitor him carefully. As they lifted Crickstar onto a floating stretcher, his eyes found Maya. For a moment, the agony in his expression was replaced by something else, understanding. He finally realized what she had been trying to tell them. Earth's insects were not toys. They were not harmless. They were products of a world so dangerous that even the smallest creatures had evolved into perfect weapons. The demonstration was over, but the lesson was just beginning. As the medical team carried Crickstar away, his cries of pain echoed through the corridors of the academy. Every student who heard those sounds would remember them forever. Maya packed up her specimens quietly. The bullet ant was back in its container, looking as harmless as before, but everyone in the room now knew the truth. Appearances could be very deceiving. The galaxy was about to learn a new respect for the creatures of Earth and for the species that had survived alongside them for millions of years. 3 days had passed since the demonstration. The academy was a different place now. Students walked quietly through the corridors, their voices hushed when they talked about what they had seen. The story of Crickstar and the bullet ant had spread to every corner of the galaxy. Maya sat in her quarters, reading messages from scientists across the universe. Everyone wanted to know more about Earth's insects. Universities were offering her research positions. Governments wanted to study her specimens. The tiny bullet ant had made Earth famous overnight, but Maya felt tired and sad. She had not wanted to hurt Crickstar. She had only wanted to teach people about her world's amazing creatures. Now she wondered if she had gone too far. A soft knock came at her door. Maya opened it to find Velanara standing in the hallway. The blue-skinned student looked worried and tired. May I come in? Velanara asked. Maya nodded and stepped aside. Velanara entered and sat down on the small couch. For a moment, neither of them spoke. How is he? Maya asked finally. Better, Velanara replied. The pain started to fade yesterday evening. He was able to eat something this morning. The doctors say he will make a full recovery. Maya felt relief wash over her. I am glad. I was worried about permanent damage. There is no physical damage, Velanara said, but the psychological impact is severe. He has not spoken much since the pain began to fade. When he does talk, he asks questions about Earth and its creatures. Maya poured 2 cups of tea from her personal supply. It was one of the few things from home that she had brought with her. What kind of questions? He wants to know how humans survive on a world with such dangerous creatures. He asks about other Earth animals and whether they are as dangerous as the insects. He seems to be trying to understand something. Maya handed Velinara a cup. What is he trying to understand? I think he is trying to figure out what it means to be human, Velinara said. All his life, he believed that bigger and stronger meant better. Now he has learned that a creature smaller than his fingernail can bring him to his knees. It has shaken his whole view of the universe. Maya sipped her tea thoughtfully. That was not my intention. I just wanted people to respect Earth's creatures. You accomplished that, Velinara said. The entire academy is talking about nothing else. Some students are frightened, others are fascinated. Everyone is asking questions about Earth. What kind of questions? Velinara smiled slightly. Yesterday, a student asked me if humans have special armor to protect themselves from insects. Another wanted to know if Earth children are taught to fight bugs in school. Someone even asked if humans have developed weapons specifically for battling insects. Maya laughed despite herself. We do have insect repellent and bug spray. But mostly we just learn to live with them. That is what fascinates everyone, Velinara said. Most species in the galaxy have eliminated their dangerous creatures or moved away from them. But humans chose to stay and adapt. You learn to coexist with things that could kill you. We did not have a choice, Maya said. Earth is our home. We had to learn to survive there. But you did more than survive, Velinara pointed out. You thrived. You became the dominant species on a world where even the insects are deadly? It takes a special kind of courage. Maya had never thought of it that way. To her, living with dangerous creatures was just normal life. But she was beginning to understand how it looked to aliens from safer worlds. The faculty is also asking questions, Velinara continued. Professor Quinder wants to study your specimens. The xenobiology department is requesting samples of bullet ant venom. 3 different research institutes have offered to fund expeditions to Earth. That could be good for both our species, Maya said. Scientific cooperation benefits everyone. There's something else, Velinara said quietly. Crickstar wants to see you. Maya set down her teacup. Is that wise? He might blame me for what happened. I do not think so, Velinara said. He asked specifically to speak with you. He said he owes you an apology. An hour later, Maya walked into the medical bay. Crickstar lay in a specialized bed designed for his species. He looked smaller than she remembered, as if the pain had somehow reduced him. His scales were still pale and his eyes were tired. Dr. Rodriguez, he said when he saw her. His voice was quiet and respectful. Thank you for coming. Maya sat in the chair beside his bed. How are you feeling? Better, Crickstar said. The pain is almost gone now, but I will never forget it. He paused, looking at his hands. I owe you an apology. You do not need to apologize, Maya said. You volunteered for the demonstration. I need to apologize for more than that, Crickstar said. I mocked you and your world. I called Earth's creatures pathetic and harmless. I was wrong about everything. Maya nodded. You were not the only one. Many people underestimate things they do not understand. But I should have listened. Crickstar said, You tried to teach us about your world's dangers. Instead of learning, I laughed. I thought I was superior because I was bigger and stronger. Size and strength are not the only measures of power, Maya said. I know that now, Crickstar replied. That tiny ant taught me more about evolution than all my classes combined. It showed me that real power comes from adaptation, not size. Maya was quiet for a moment. What will you do now? I want to learn, Crickstar said. I want to understand how humans became so strong while remaining so small. I want to study Earth's creatures and learn from them. That would be wonderful. Maya said, Earth has many more species to discover. Scientists estimate we have only identified about 10% of our insect species. Crickstar's eyes widened. 10%? You mean there are creatures on Earth even more dangerous than the bullet ant? Maya smiled. The bullet ant is impressive, but it is not the most dangerous insect on Earth. Some species are much worse. Worse how? Well, Maya said, there are ants that can dissolve flesh, wasps that can control other insects' minds, and beetles that can shoot boiling chemicals with perfect accuracy. And those are just the ones we know about. Crickstar was quiet for a long time. Your species is remarkable, he said finally. You live on a world that would terrify most civilizations, yet you speak of it with love and respect. It is our home, Maya said simply. We learn to appreciate its dangers as well as its beauty. Over the following weeks, the academy transformed. Students who had once mocked Earth's creatures now treated them with respect and fascination. Maya's classes became the most popular on campus. Everyone wanted to learn about the world that had produced such incredible life forms. Crickstar recovered completely, but he was changed. He became Maya's most dedicated student, asking endless questions about Earth's ecosystems and evolution. He studied human history and was amazed by how the species had survived ice ages, plagues, and natural disasters. Humans are the ultimate survivors, he told Maya one day. You have faced every challenge Earth could throw at you and emerged stronger. We had good teachers, Maya replied, looking at her collection of specimens. Every creature on Earth taught us something about survival. The Galactic Educational Exchange Program expanded after Maya's demonstration. More human scientists were invited to teach at alien universities. Earth's biology became a required subject at many schools. Children across the galaxy learned about the amazing planet where even the smallest creatures commanded respect. Maya stayed at the academy for 2 more years. She taught hundreds of students about Earth's incredible biodiversity. She showed them that evolution was not just about becoming bigger or stronger, but about finding the perfect solution to survival challenges. When she finally returned to Earth, Maya brought with her a new understanding of her own world. She had always loved Earth's creatures, but now she saw them through alien eyes. She understood how remarkable it was that humans had learned to coexist with such dangerous life forms. The bullet ant that had started it all went back to its home in the Amazon rainforest. It never knew that its single sting had changed how the galaxy viewed Earth and its inhabitants. It simply went back to being what it had always been, a perfect product of evolution, small but mighty, humble but dangerous. And in universities across the galaxy, students learned a new lesson about judging others by their appearance. They learned that the most dangerous creatures often came in the smallest packages, and that true strength was measured not by size, but by the ability to survive and thrive in any environment. Earth's children had earned their place among the stars, one tiny sting at a time.